Hey everybody, welcome to the Morphin Grid. I'm Jake.
I'm Josh.
And today we're going to be watching, I was listening to the episode, we're going to watch it too. Watching the episode A Different Drum, aired September 10th, 1993. Neither of us know what it's about.
So it'll be fun.
So this should be fun. Josh has speculated that Rita is going to send a monster to Earth to mess up the Power Rangers' day.
And then they'll stop it. It's a shot in the dark, I know.
It's as good a guess as any.
But I guess we'll just have to see.
We will.
All right.
Right now.
It's
Because
Morphin time. Okay, and we're back. So where do I go from there? I don't know.
Well, we're back. We just watched A Different Drum. It was a good little episode. It was short. It was only 19 and a half minutes.
Some interesting things, though.
Yeah, I have notes.
Oh, good. I have mental notes, which have worked for me so far. So
I have real notes, which works for me. So we're just different. That's all. Before we get started, we're recording this the day after Christmas. Hopefully you'll hear this next week sometime. We're going to try to get it up within 2 weeks after Christmas. And this should be the 5th day in a row that you have been able to listen to this podcast. If everything goes well.
if you made it this far, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
We appreciate
if
you.
If you haven't subscribed yet, you should think about it because it's all uphill from here.
It's just going to be all this all the time.
But better.
Everybody wants that.
Even better sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes
Sometimes it'll be this.
We're not going to promise you the moon, okay? But so we will not be doing 5 days a week every week. That's not going to be a thing that keeps happening. We'll probably update Mondays. Probably.
It depends. We'll have days where we just knock out 3 of these.
But we'll post on a Monday.
Yeah.
Because we record Tuesday or Thursday, depending on work schedules.
We record whenever we can.
Yeah, but we never record on Mondays, so we'll probably upload on a Monday.
Right.
Yeah, so that's all the pre-show notes stuff.
Okay, well, let's dive into this episode.
So let's get into this episode, which was a really good little episode. We start off with my favorite thing in the world, which is Kimberly wearing aerobics gear. So we're just jumping into the only segment we have.
Yeah.
So
I want to talk about this for a minute, but I'll let you introduce.
So she's wearing a pink leotard, but it's not like a leotard like regular. It's like a leotard, but short shorts also.
Right.
And she's got a
pink sweater.
A really big pink sweater tied around her waist.
Because it's the 90s.
Because it's the 90s.
And it's not, and you can't live in the 90s without a sweater around your waist.
I don't remember a day that went by that I didn't have one. And then she also has a giant scrunchie in her hair again.
It's a pretty big scrunchie.
Which I want to point out that I've written scrunchie down in my notes so many times that my phone now recognizes the word. So I'm doing pretty good on that. She's got like leg warmers, but not really.
Did she?
She does. They're pink. They're not quite socks, but they're not quite leg warmers. They're like really big socks.
They're probably knee-high socks that she has
that
scrunched
she pushed
down
all the way down. Yeah. And then white sneakers, and that's it.
She probably has a watch on.
She's got earrings. That's all I really.
Yeah, and her nails are painted.
Yes,
like always. Her nails are always.
She's basically the perfect 90s babe.
Okay.
So what did you want to say about...
I just wanted to comment on the sweater tied around her waist.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Because it serves no purpose other than to just be there.
She puts the sweater on, and it's huge. It's gigantic.
It's probably her grandma's sweater.
Her grandma knitted her a chiffon pink sweater.
Just kept knitting until she ran out of pink yarn.
So on some other clothes notes, Jason is wearing his red pants. Jason is wearing red pants.
Does he have like a tank top on, or is it like a sleeveless?
It
t-shirt?
Definitely doesn't have sleeves.
There's no sleeves because you gotta show off the guns.
Zach is full on Rastafarian today. Assumably, is that a word? Assumedly? Are any of these words?
I know what they mean, so...
Assumedly... No, that doesn't sound right. Because he has a dance contest later. Not a dance contest. He needs to shame someone by stepping up to the streets. And the only way he knows how to do that is by dancing.
Right, stomp in the yard.
Exactly. So I assume that's why he's wearing like a Rastafarian beanie hair catcher thing, but he doesn't have dread, so it's not super necessary. Billy is a mechanic.
Nerdy mechanic.
Billy is dressed as a mechanic and also can't dance.
This is a prime example of them covering up how fit David
Exactly,
Yost?
yes.
Yost?
I say Yost.
Yost, David Yost. It's spelt like Lost, so it's Yost.
David, if you're listening, email us.
Correct us, please.
So
I'm going to say Yost. David Yost is a pretty fit, small guy. He's a gymnast.
He's a gymnast, yeah. So he is. They did a lot of work to make him look nerdy and a little schlubby until like around season 2, where he all of a sudden levels up.
Or he's a man now.
But like, and then by Zio, he's like a dad.
He's
he looks like a dad, like, but he's still in high school. Anyway, not the point. Trini's wearing yellow pants.
She also had something tied around her waist.
She did, yes. Another shirt of some sort.
Yellow
Her
one.
pants looked like they came from the 70s. I don't know if that was just
her
me.
whole outfit, aside from the sweater around the waist,
It looked a little 70s.
she dresses a little older usually.
Yeah.
Because she's more mature.
Mature. Where were we? Okay, so Kimberly's teaching a dance class.
Like a dance aerobics.
Yeah, dancer size.
Because they have the little step stool.
Yeah, Ernie comes in with a cart of towels. And he's dancing, sort of.
He's just kind of...
But he basically just
jiggling
puts
around.
the cart in Billy's way. He's just trying to make Billy mess up, I guess.
No, he got distracted by the dancing. Because dancing is infectious.
Is it? I've never
It is.
felt the need to dance. Not once.
Well,
Except
Ernie did.
That's a lie. I have felt the need to dance, but I recognize it and know that I can't, and I shut that need down. But Kimberly is teaching this dancer size class. There's a deaf girl in the class who we don't know right away, but she bumps into another student who I assume, because they're supposed to be freshmen, or no, they're supposed to be seniors right now.
You're right. They're retconned as freshmen later.
So they're seniors right now. So I assume these are freshmen? Maybe? These kids?
They're just teens at the juice bar.
I have a theory about this. The reason that, like, Jason teaches a bunch of, like, karate classes, and Zach teaches that dance class later.
Right.
And Billy probably does teaches science stuff.
Science fairs.
Yeah, he does. He does
He
that
does.
later. And Kimberly does this. It's because they're padding their college resumes.
Right.
They're like, no, look, I taught this class at this youth center. You should totally let me in.
Right. That's a extracurricular activity.
Yeah.
It looks good for colleges. I went to community college. I didn't have to worry about any of that.
I went to a really weird college. It was a film school, but that was it. There wasn't really anything else there.
They do video games there too.
Yeah, well, in other parts of it, but like in your specific program, you have like 2 or 3 basic courses. Your first like 3 months are like regular classes, but that's it. And then after that, it's all film stuff.
Cool.
Okay, so Billy's dancing, and Zach is kind of like,
he's kind of bopping
he's
around.
like bopping around, and then Trini gives Zach this look.
Trini pisses me off in this
Trini is, pardon my French, I'm not going to say it.
Don't. I already said piss.
Yeah.
That's a little over the line for where I want to go with this. But...
I don't know how else to say it.
Whoa.
I know, I'm going to delete that. But
She's undressing him with her eyes.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. She is like turned on by his... just little dancing, or maybe she's turned off by Billy.
They're watching Billy dance
terribly,
and Zach's bopping around better than Billy's dancing. So Trini's kind of like, "Hey, boy," which is wrong.
Yeah,
Trini needs to stop it.
No, my headcanon. I shipped the crap out of Trini.
Billy and Trini have a wonderful little family and a white picket fence.
Maybe. Later on, Billy leaves. Trini's gone.
Well, Billy goes to a different planet with an alien chick.
But he comes back like 20 minutes later.
As an old guy.
But then he gets better. Like,
No, that's way down
I don't know.
the line.
I don't even... That's a whole mess. But anyway... We cut to Rita for like 1 second, just so she can be like, I hate music! And then it cuts back to them dancing. Also, Billy gets pushed into a stretcher?
I feel like he landed on that towel cart.
Okay,
I think that's what it was.
Because
But this towel cart is either radio controlled by some craphead or sentient. Because it's spinning around in circles, going every which way. It goes out into the hallway, apparently through the bathroom and the women's locker room. It comes back in and then dumps Billy on the stage. And Kimberly finally realized what was going on, because the whole time she had her back to the class because there was a turn move before this happened.
Yeah, but we're watching it, and Josh is like, why is there a stretcher in here? I didn't know either, so I wrote it down. I wrote, why is there a stretcher? But good thing we cleared that up. So that's when the deaf girl bumps into the other student.
I'm going to call her Becky. I think her name was Becky. That's what it is now.
Sounds good. She bumps into her.
Or maybe that was the deaf girl's name. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
They're both Becky.
Becky and Becca.
There you go. Perfect.
And Becca is the non-deaf girl.
Okay.
Becca gets mad at
She
Becky.
also was wearing red pants.
What is up with all the red pants? Was this episode sponsored by Red Pants? Levi's had a sale at the mall. Anyway, so Becca gets mad at Becky, and Becky can't explain herself because she's deaf.
She's deaf,
and Becca doesn't know
Becca's
sign language.
Oh, watch it, girl.
I mean, she was just mad because she got bumped. I get it, and she apologizes in like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
because Becky goes away all mad.
She runs away all
kind of like embarrassed,
Yeah.
sad, and then Kimberly comes over and is no sign language.
It's fluent in sign language.
Pretty much, yeah. And she's like, "No, it was my fault. I didn't tell you I didn't sign turn now or something like that." And then
everything's cool.
Then Becky's fine, and then Becca apologizes like 2 minutes later because I think Kimberly was like, "Hey, apologize. It wasn't nice." When we were watching,
right?
Because Bulk and Skull comes in.
Oh, right.
Sans theme, no Bulk and Skull theme.
It plays while he's dancing.
But it doesn't when they come in.
Not when they come
They are
in.
not. That's how I am used to them coming. I was flustered. I didn't know what to do. This is
Because they needed to use it for his dance music. They didn't want to overplay it.
Right.
You know?
So Bulk decides that he's going to kick the stool out from under a guy who can kill him.
The reaction, not from Jason, but I feel like from Austin St. John,
Right.
was to kill that guy.
Yeah. And Zach was on it. He was like, "No, Jason, don't kill this guy. You can't be a Power Ranger if you murder Bulk. Zordon will take away your power
Just
coin."
the reaction to the stool getting kicked out was so genuinely
I feel
angry.
like they maybe didn't tell him exactly what was going to happen. They're like, "All right, you just need to be mad at what Paul does." And he's like,
Right.
"What do you mean?" And they're like, "Action!" And he's like, "Oh, what?" And then he got his stool kicked out. And he was like, "Hey, man,
It's like, what? Oh, that was the thing.
me and my red pants gonna stomp you." But Zach was on it, so
Yeah.
don't worry, guys. So Zach then challenges him to a dance-off, like you do. And he's just showing off.
Gotta represent
What?
the streets.
The
The mean streets of Angel
Angel
Grove.
Grove. As far as I know, Angel Grove is comprised of
Look.
one juice bar, one high school,
And an empty warehouse district.
empty warehouse
I get it.
district. So far, there's an amusement park that no one likes, and then the rest of it is suburbia. So far,
Yeah.
and then there's a million caves.
We have to go.
That was you.
Let me go get that.
Okay, that's it. That's the whole town.
Maybe there's only the one cave they just keep going back to. There's also a park. There's Angel Grove Park.
There's Angel Grove Park, and then there is the desert, the infinite desert.
Right, where the command center is, which I was gauging how long to cook the pizza on how fast they get to the command center. There's no Zordon, no command center, anything in this episode.
Nope. Not. I wrote that down. They just don't. I was waiting for like at the end. Maybe
They take care of this whole monster on their own
because of Becky. Because let's get to the monster. Okay. Well, before we get there, Bulk tries to do the splits and gets hip dysplasia.
Right. I thought he tore his pants, but he did not.
He just broke both of his hips.
Broke some of his hips.
Broke a couple of hips.
I think all of them.
And then we go back to space, where Finster's like, or Rita's like, "Hey, is my monster ready yet?" And Finster's like, "Just about." I call him the naughty nun, but I don't think it's it. I don't. We don't know what he said.
I don't. Yeah.
Naughty Knight. We're gonna call him Naughty Nork.
Naughty Nork.
Because
Gennady Gnork.
Gennady Gnork. And they send him down. He looks like a cartoon troll Viking.
Yeah.
And
he plays an accordion. He's a Pied Piper for teenagers.
Yeah, so he tricks 4 girls who want to go to the mall. There's Becca, 3 others, and then they invite Becky because they're friends again.
Well, Becca and Becky are now best friends.
Right.
Because Becca feels terrible about yelling at Becky.
Right, and they have the same name, which is how me and one of my best friends became friends.
Well, so. I mean, maybe they don't. We're just calling them that.
Well, we'll never know. There's literally no way of finding that out.
Just watch the episode again.
Literally no way. But Naughty Nork, like...
Gennady Gnork.
Gennady Gnork, sorry. The Gennady Gnome named Gnork.
Maybe it was Naughty Gnome.
Maybe it was Naughty Gnome. Now that you say... Mystery may be solved. I'm still going to call him Gennady Gnork. So he's playing the accordion, which hypnotizes these girls because all teenage girls go crazy for that accordion.
The point of the monster, Finster explains that his music will hypnotize the Power Rangers into fighting for Rita.
Right. So that's a good plan on paper until they realize that none of their plans work. Ever. So the girls are like, whoa, and they start walking to the desert, into the one cave. And Becky's like, what is this? What is happening? Because she's deaf, so she can't hear the music.
Right.
So she follows them. She runs back to the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And then is like, hey guys,
come save my friends.
We need help. And Jason's treating her like Lassie. And he's like,
I thought the same thing.
He's like, I think she wants something, Ernie. Do you know sign language?
What is it, boy? Girl?
Did Timmy's trapped in the barn on fire? What's going on? No. And then she just grabs a pen out of Ernie's pocket.
Right.
Because she's sick of dealing with these 2 idiots.
My friends are in danger. And then Jason's like, oh, let's go save your friends. And Jason leads the way, even though he has no idea where her friends are.
Well, he just knows. Look, if they're
in the cave.
They have to go through the desert to get to the cave, so if they're not in the desert, they're probably in the cave. So it's just, we'll find them on the way. He rounds up the Power Rangers in record time.
Off screen.
They're all just, right there, doing whatever.
Right, Jason leaves the juice bar, and then the 5 of them arrive at the cave.
Right. Yeah, him and Becky leave, and then all 5 of the Rangers and Becky show up at the cave. Becky's trying to follow them in, and like a rope net stops her.
Right.
And it looks like she could have just lifted it up. But I mean, good for her for not, because then she would have been killed and eaten.
But Naughty Gnome.
By Gennady Gnork.
And then the Putties 3.
Yes. Okay, also, Squat doesn't sound quite right. I don't know if you noticed because you were checking on the pizza.
No, I didn't.
But Squat sounds a little wrong. Not like Goldar wrong. Also, no Goldar in this episode.
I think he might have been in like a background shot.
Right, but he didn't. He did not speak. Speaking rules.
So we don't know if his voice is right
yet.
Right.
So, but yeah, Squat just sounded a little wrong. I don't know if it was like
voice actor was a little sick.
Or they're trying to figure it out.
Right.
Or what. But they're making like some sort of monster food, because they're having a monster party where Gennady Gnork is playing the accordion, Putties, and these 4 girls are dancing, and they pour bouncy balls onto some beef stroganoff And I guess that's an alien delicacy. Because I don't even think they eat it, because then they all fall asleep for no reason. They're like, oh.
They do.
They're like, that's it. And then they pass out.
Right.
And then it cuts back to Rita. And she's like,
is like, it's good nap time.
Yeah, then Rita's like, you idiots, get up.
Before this, he says to the girls, now you're dancing with putties, and soon you'll be dancing with Power Rangers.
Which threw me off for a second, because I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But it's because...
his goal is to hypnotize,
Power Rangers. Which makes sense. Yeah, they just take a random nap, whatever.
Which Rita apparently expected.
Oh, yeah. Well, she knew
I guess
that
they're
she hired
sleeping on
idiots.
the job now.
She's like, oh, they're not... I don't see them anywhere. They must be sleeping, those idiots. Let me yell at them from space. Also... I mentioned a couple episodes back that Josh now has Z Ranger on DVD.
Yes.
So we've watched about 4 episodes.
4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah, I don't remember where we left off.
But we don't know how it works yet. How the transition goes, because it looks like every 2 episodes is one episode. I don't know where they're getting all of...
Right, like the fight with Goldar from the first episode of Power Rangers hasn't happened in Jurenja yet. That's the phonetic pronunciation.
Jurenja. But yeah, I don't know how they're splicing it up, but they're doing a heck of a job. Because Power Rangers works pretty well, except for that 3rd episode, really.
Yeah.
Back to Gennady Gnork. He can turn invisible, obviously. I
missed that.
Oh, yeah, he just puts his accordion down, turns invisible, and then footprints appear as he walks away.
I feel like he would have used that a little more.
Yeah, like when he was hypnotizing the girls. Because he was just standing off to the side.
Yeah, he wasn't even hiding. He was just standing behind a shorter bush.
Well, he was hiding behind like a door in front of glass windows. Like when he first appeared, and then when they all came out, he had moved across the path, and he just stood next to a bush and hypnotized them before they could see him. I don't know. Gennady Gnork has some Japanese powers that we don't understand yet, I guess. But this is when the episode goes, oh man, we spent 12 minutes on the regular Power Ranger, like the non-morphed stuff. We have to get to the action. And they just, like, it goes.
Yeah.
Because from here, it goes, he can turn invisible. He walks outside. Power Rangers are there. He turns visible. They fight for 1 second. They morph. Or they start morphed. Like, they don't... He comes outside, turns visible.
Is there even a morphing sequence?
There is. And Jason doesn't sound as amped as I remember. So that might be a little later on. He's like, Tyrannosaurus. Tyrannosaurus! Not yet. Maybe soon. Stay tuned, kids. So there's like this weird cut where like the American footage comes out of the cave, and then it's just like, it's like a weird cut, fade, wobble effect.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's the Japanese footage, and they're morphed and they're fighting. And this is the episode where they have different names for their weapons.
Yes. The only episode.
I didn't even remember it.
Like they're just trying out some new stuff.
And it
see
did
if
not
it
work.
sticks, but I mean...
So here are the alternate names for the power weapons. Because everything is Power Lance, Power Axe, Power Bow, Power Daggers, Bow Sword. And then he like slaps it down on the combined thing. Here is the one time only, the One Night in Vegas version.
Well, I mean, it's because they did all this without Zordon, so maybe they were trying their own names.
And Zordon was like, hey, I heard what you call them. It's wrong. You don't think I can replace you? You're nothing to me, kids.
High school is full of teenagers who want to be Power Rangers.
I literally picked you at random, and I'll pick 5 more.
I only picked you because you were the 5 people left in the juice bar.
And you were properly color coordinated. So, it's the Cosmic Cannon.
Yes.
The Battle Bow. The Dino Daggers. Here's the weird one.
These are all alliterations.
Yep, here's the weird one. The Mighty Mace. Not Lance.
But it's not even a mace.
Mace. It isn't.
It's a lance.
I know. Unless they called it Mighty Lance.
Maybe it was Lady Lance.
Nope, definitely not that. And then Power Sword.
Power Sword.
Because look, Jason's not the creative guy in the group.
Right.
If it works, it works.
Sour Sword.
The sword.
Stabby Sword.
No, it's for kids. It can't be the stabby
No,
sword.
it can't be a stabby sword.
I mean, that's what swords are usually used for, but not the point. They shoot him. He dies. Make my monster grow. He grows. This is all in the space of like 2 minutes.
Right, yeah.
This is like bam, 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 one thing after another. He grows. They jump in, but they take the time to, throw some catchphrases.
Right.
You
Jason's
know.
like, I'm going to call the dinosaurs.
And then they all jump in in the cockpits, and they're like,
They do the roll call.
Billy's nominal.
He is nominal.
He's nominal. He's doing all right. Look, he was embarrassed dancing earlier, so he's not feeling great, but now he's driving a Triceratops.
Kimberly loves this part.
Yes, this is her favorite part. I don't even know what Zach and Trini said.
I don't know.
It was probably like,
just all systems go.
I'm here.
Here I am.
Who showed up?
I'm nominal. This is my favorite.
I'm also nominal.
Boom together.
Then they go into tank mode, but he's like let's go into tank mode or use the crystals to go into tank mode. So like, is that where it is? Like crystal equals tank mode. Like before that they couldn't, except they did.
In later episodes, they used the crystals to bring them together
To shift.
But they didn't have to do that the first time they brought them together because they didn't have the crystals yet.
Well, as we've just said,
So-
in the original Z Ranger, they don't come together until the third
Right.
episode.
They're also their own entities. They're alive.
They're alive, and then that's why, because like when they jump in, they like grab the two handles,
Right, and it syncs up.
Yeah, and it's like Red Power Ranger plus Tyrannosaurus equals Tyrannosaurus.
Right.
So that's them, I guess. Pacific Rim drifting. You haven't seen that yet, have you?
No. Soon.
We'll watch it tomorrow.
We're gonna watch SmackDown tomorrow.
We're gonna watch SmackDown tomorrow. We'll watch it soon.
Okay, we'll watch it.
We'll
Maybe
just-
I'll just watch it someday. Who knows?
It's on Netflix now too.
Well, I own it on
But you
Blu-ray.
own it on
I'm not
Blu-ray,
gonna watch
so
it on
watch it on
Netflix.
Blu-ray.
Scrub.
Anyway, this isn't Pacific Rim cast. I mean, it kind of is because Pacific Rim is kind of Power Rangers, but anyway, so yeah, crystals equal tank mode is the only thing I can get out of this episode. Later, it will change, but as of right now,
Okay, I'll buy it for now.
That's what I'm going with. And then I was about to write down like, how is this accordion making them hallucinate? And then you said, "Oh, it sounds like a city."
Right, because they're in the desert mountain area, and then Gnasty Gnork is playing his accordion, right?
Sure,
And then
just like that.
Then like the cityscape, which is just a bunch of poorly painted boxes,
Yeah, it flashes in and
but
out.
it keeps flashing in and out, and Megazord just can't handle it.
So
it's
it
too
looks-
much. And then it cuts to, I guess, like a first-person view from Megazord's perspective, where Gnasty Gnork is running at them. Gnasty Gnork's bad guy from
Right.
Spyro.
Yes.
Gnasty Gnork is this monster.
Yeah.
Is running at them, and he keeps changing into a building and back into himself.
So maybe
And then
maybe
you say what you're going to say, because
Okay.
I'm going to just keep describing the fight, because it's funny. It's a funny
right.
fight.
So here's what I'm thinking. We haven't gotten this far in Z Ranger yet, but maybe
Right.
what's happening is that the Japanese version of Gnasty Gnork is making them think that they destroyed the city
Right.
instead of fighting them, and so it's not like, oh, we're gonna get the Power Rangers to fight on our side, but it's like we're gonna make them think they destroyed the city and then kill them because of it.
Yeah, they're not afraid to talk about killing things in the Japanese one.
No, it's weird.
Yeah.
They have really funny names because it's like Gushi and Geki and Mei and Boy and Dan.
And Dan.
Oh, it's fun. I would like to like be at a place where we can watch one episode, then watch the Z Ranger,
Right.
And then, but I don't want it to be if we would have started that way, then that's like if the podcast was about that, it would be good. But like,
Right.
I feel like that would.
Well, just when we finish season 1 of Power Rangers, we can just run through Z Ranger.
Z Ranger and just see how it matches up.
Right,
We'll
we could just do an episode where we just compare the series, or a couple episodes.
We'll do that. That'll be
little bonus
fun.
episodes.
Yeah, a little bono episode.
No.
They said that on Attitude Era podcast. So now it's stuck in my head. Okay, so anyway, Jason is absolutely sick of Gnasty Gnork's guff at this point, making him think that he can hear a city. He doesn't like it.
Right, so as he's running at them...
It's called a Mega Sword, or Power Sword.
First, he's running at them while also turning into a building that's running at them.
Sure.
And I feel like they just punch it. Right? And he falls and drops his instrument, which maybe it wasn't an accordion at this point. I think it still was.
That's what I think it was.
They just punch this thing that's coming at them.
That's not Nakatomi Plaza.
So now they're not, they're not under his spell.
Right, and so he's like, let's just cut this sucker.
So he's like, ugh. Power Sword.
Power Sword.
Come on.
And they go...
Isn't this one the Mega Sword?
I think it was.
Because his is the Power Sword.
Yeah, that's why I said Mega Sword.
Mega Power Sword.
Mega Power Sword. Maybe. I don't know. So they go, strike 3, you're out. and they cut him. Because there's like that...
They say a different thing every time they kill a monster,
I'm glad they got strike 3, you're out of the way, but like, there's a whole baseball episode
there is.
later. I think it's in Turbo.
Yeah, because the baseball monster is really goofy.
Yeah, there's a football episode in Mighty Morphin.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember at all, but I saw a picture of it.
That's a Zed monster.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see when we get there.
I think. We'll find out.
We'll find out. You'll be the second to know, because we'll obviously be the first. So listeners, you'll be second. They come out of the cave and the girls are talking up how awesome Power Rangers are. And Kimberly is signing, I assume, to help Becky out, to be like, here's how they're bragging about us. But she's got her giant sweater on.
Because it's cold in a cave.
And I had, like, my mouth fell open and my tongue rolled out like a Tex Avery cartoon. And I had hearts in my eyes and I floated to Angel Grove. Oh, man, Kimberly. Gonna kill me one of these days. Then they're back at the juice bar where Ernie, I think this is the first time where he goes, soda's on the house. Because he's already figured it out. I think this is...
I don't know if we talked about this yet.
I think we did it in the first episode. One of the takes of the first episode. I don't remember.
Anyway, we'll talk about it right now because he says it in this episode.
Yeah.
So the reason Ernie gives the Rangers drinks for free all the time is because he knows that they're the Power Rangers.
He figured it out, and I'm assuming it's this episode.
That's not a fan theory. That's a word of God that has been confirmed in interviews.
Yeah. With
somebody, one of the writers.
Yeah, probably.
Or maybe even Chaim Saban himself.
Maybe. Probably not.
Probably not, though.
I think the point where he figures it out is where Jason goes, let's go save your friends, and then runs out without a moment's hesitation.
Right.
That might be when he goes,
Yeah.
I've never seen these 5 kids
in any other colors.
Number 1, they're always wearing the 5 colors of the Power Rangers. Number 2, they're never around when the Power Rangers are out Power Ranging.
Whenever something bad happens, these kids leave, and then the Power Rangers
show up. And he's like the only smart person in Angel Grove, so he figures it out. He's not the smartest.
He's the only smart adult.
Right. Well, yes, and he's not the only... Like, he's not super smart because he is in constant danger of losing his great-great-great-grandfather's business because he's giving away free drinks all the time to the Power Rangers. There's a whole episode later about how they're about to go out of business and they have to get money for the juice bar because he's like, I gotta stop giving away sodas for free. Oh, Ernie. Come on, man.
Get your life together.
So they're hanging out with Becky, and Jason signs something, and then Kimberly and Becky start laughing at him.
Right.
And he's like, what'd I do? And they're like, you said your dog smells.
Hello.
Which, I don't know sign language, so I can't confirm that that's what he said.
Right.
But everything else seemed pretty dead on.
It seemed like real sign language.
So I don't, because you asked if Amy Jo Johnson actually knows sign language.
Right.
That might be something to look into.
Because, I can sit here and make up sign language, but it doesn't look like real sign language when I do.
I know thank you.
I don't even. That's this, right?
That's this. You can't see, but
it's when you put your hand over your mouth or on your chin.
I always
and then extend it forward and
I always
down.
touch my bottom lip because it's halfway between those two options.
You know how I learned that?
Blue's Clues.
Blue's Clues.
Yeah. So when I learned it. Oh. So there's a fun thing you learned about us. Yeah. So then, and Kimberly's like, Billy, dance with Becky, and
well, Billy asks him to dance. Did some kind of
Becky asks.
Yes.
Billy doesn't
puts her
ask
hand out
Billy
and
to
does
dance.
a finger
Billy would
person.
never do that.
Finger person walking on her hand, and Billy's like, "What?"
Billy, who accidentally hacked into a teleportation grid, doesn't get girls.
Oh, he does though. This is the start of him getting a girl all the time.
Right? Yeah, and that the backstage reason is because David Yost is gay.
Right.
And I don't know if the logic was, oh, we'll keep giving him girls, like we'll keep giving Billy girls, so no one will know that he's gay in real life.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. It's weird early '90s thinking. Who cares? Right. I would have liked it if Billy was gay. I think that because they have one of everybody
I wouldn't
else.
like that because then him and Trini.
Right. Okay. Yes. But. Other than that,
but I mean, just because David Yost is gay doesn't mean that Billy has to
exactly. Yeah,
be gay.
No, that's
true
I mean? Too. I don't think they've had a gay Power Ranger yet. I feel like that's probably going to be coming up pretty soon.
Depends on what Saban thinks about it.
Right. I mean, Power Ranger's always been super diverse, and that's kind of the final frontier.
But I mean, no, I haven't seen anything past In Space.
Right.
But even like the way they treat relationships,
it's always super chaste. It's like like
Kimberly and Tommy like finally get together after 3 seasons.
No, it's like 1.5 because he's still a Green Ranger.
Right, but they never really say, oh, we're together until like a lot later than I remember.
Right, but they kiss once, as far as I can remember, and then they're like, no, they're dating. They don't need to do.
But I just don't know how on a kids show they would, because they don't do a lot of relationship stuff. Like that's the only Power Ranger relationship outside of Tommy and Kat.
Right. Well, I know there's one in Time Force. I know, and it's weird because it's like it was a past relationship that she's hung up on. And, like, his brother joins the team. Maybe he died. I don't remember. Well, I mean, when we get to Time Force.
Right.
If we get to Time Force. Well,
I mean, we'll get to Time Force. Maybe not on this, but we will watch Time Force.
Right, in real life, yeah. Anyway, I don't know what else to say about that, so we're just going to keep going with the episode. We're almost done. So, Billy is dancing, and, like, he's dancing okay.
Right.
And then
Becky's, like, kind of showing him a little bit. And she's just kind of gesturing at him.
Trini stares dino daggers at this girl.
Well, not yet. Because then they cut back to the other Rangers who are like, oh, they're talking about how great Becky is. We could learn a lot from Becky, and then we never see her again. And then they cut back.
Common theme.
They cut back to them dancing. Billy figured it out in those 10, 15 seconds.
Becky showed him. He's smart, so Becky showed him.
So he basically break dances all over the juice bar. But he stomps the yard.
Well, yes, but also
he puts his
the
dance
most
stank.
important stuff is that Trini is now back into Billy because she is not happy with Becky.
Because they cut back again for the end, like where it freezes on all the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And Trini is just stone faced, staring daggers at them.
Staring
dino daggers.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you shouldn't have been messing around with Zach in your head.
Shouldn't have been eyeballing Zach. Could have had.
That's why Trini makes me mad in this episode, because this is the only episode where she's such a girl.
I don't know. I like it. I like how inconsistent the characters are because they're teenagers. Teenagers are the most inconsistent people ever.
I guess it makes sense.
So I like it.
So before we wrap up, I just want to say a quick thing, because we've been having that weird interference issue in the recording. So at 20 minutes, we paused it and then unpaused it and started recording again. So there might be, if there's not, you can cut this part. But if there is a jarring cut,
I don't think there will be, but
Okay,
yeah, if there is, I'll cut this.
We're just trying to work around the static issue.
There's this weird interference issue, and nobody knows how to fix it, and it's super random when it is fixed. It's constant when it is not fixed. Like it'll always happen, and sometimes it won't.
Right.
And we're trying to figure out how to recreate the situations of the sometimes it won't. So bear with us. That's why at the end of episodes, usually there's a part where like one of us will sound a little different, but the same amount of loudness.
Right.
It's because I had to cut out part of a track and use the audio from the other mic.
A lot of weird editing tricks.
Yeah. Anyway, we're
working on it,
hoping that we have figured out the solution.
If it doesn't work, we can try using another recording program.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. But yeah. But thanks for listening. You can email us. Do we have an email set up yet?
We have a Little Idiots one. I don't think we have a Morphin Grid one.
littleidiots.morphingrid@gmail.com.
Yes.
1G, Morphin Grid.
Morphin Grid, 1G, yes.
You can tweet us, Twitter style, at Morphin Grid.
Yes.
And then you can... The Tumblr's only going to be to stream to...
Right, but we can use it to post pictures of stuff that we talk about, too.
Right.
Like our tattoos, or me being a rug dog when we meet Jason David Frank.
Oh, that's my favorite picture I've ever seen. And I was in it.
Well, good. I'm glad I could make memories for you.
Yeah. So we'll try again next year.
Right.
We'll practice. It'll be better.
And then I'll do the actual morphing, and you'll do the goofy smile.
And I'll just be laughing at how bad you were last year. But yeah, that's morphingrid.tumblr.com, I believe.
I'm pretty sure.
And then
it's like a sub blog for Little Idiots.
Yeah, it's still its own thing. But
I don't know how Tumblr works, so
it's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so subscribe. If you enjoy this, tell some friends. Or leave a rating and review on iTunes, even if you don't enjoy it.
If you tell us why not.
Tell us what you don't like. Because there's another Power Rangers podcast out there that I have nothing positive to say about.
I left them a review about how they're garbage.
That's kind of mean.
Which was basically like, how do you record this? Through the onboard mic with the sound coming out of your speakers?
It sounds really bad.
I didn't say that their content was bad. I just said that the audio quality was terrible.
I also don't like the content. But it's just personal preference.
If you're leaving a bad review, it's going to be mean.
Right. Either.
You can't be. Yeah. Oh, this was the worst. Good job. Like
4 stars. Yeah, but if you don't like it, tell us why not. Or you can just email us directly. Tell us what you don't like or what you would like to hear more about. Because sometimes we get meandery. I don't know if you guys like that or not. I don't know if that'll ever stop, even if you don't.
If you don't like it, tough. Just
kind of wait it out.
Right.
Then the podcast will be over. We're gonna try to keep them to about 45 minutes.
Yeah. Try to keep them under an hour. Some of the heavier episodes will probably go over that. Green with Evil is going to be broken into 5, so it might not be so bad.
Yeah, so Green with Evil is 5 parts. We're thinking about doing that one day a week too, but that's 10 episodes away from now.
Right.
So you got time. You got time to prepare and let them stock up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think we're good.
I think that's been podcast.
All right.
Also, I want to say that I stole That's Been Podcast. Literally just stole it from Chris Haley on the Gravity Falls Gossiper. If he's listening to this, I'm sorry, but you figured out the best way to end a podcast, so I stole it.
If you want us to cut it out, email us, let us know, and tell all your friends about us.
Or tweet me, because I'm constantly
and also tell all your
him
friends
on
about
Twitter.
us, so we can start doing this for a living.
Don't. What are you doing?
Look, we need to promote.
I know. I hate self-promotion. I hate it, but it's a necessary evil. Anyway, thanks for listening. That got off the rails at the end. But, that was a different drum, or just different drum.
Just different drum.
I hope you enjoyed. We'll be back next time with Food
Fight, which is going to be fun because this is my first episode of Power Rangers.
Me too, which is a weird coincidence. But I feel like it's probably a lot of people's first episodes for some reason. It's a great episode. Anyway, that's been podcast. Someone is
dying outside.
I don't know what that was. We gotta end before something bad happens. May the power protect you. All the red pants you could ever want. It's just Jason and Becca. Like, oh man, this is our moment. Let's do it. Give me 40 pairs of red pants.